Alright, so the next deck is the Carnival Inferno deck. The very first batch that I brought in was sold out almost immediately, okay? And people asking me, can I please have more? And therefore I brought in more of this Carnival Inferno deck, just like the Discovery deck. I show you the Discovery deck again. You can see that they are made such that they look like a book. So the Carnival Inferno deck looks pretty much like a book too. Now what do I mean? Let's have a look at this. The Carnival Inferno, the side of the book is here, right? So if I turn this way, you get these are brought to you by www.karnival.com. And then we've got the back of it, which is this design. And at this side, you get the pages of the book. You can see obviously they're trying to print it as a book. This means that if you have a few of these Carnival Inferno decks placed like this, it will also look very interesting, especially if you pair them up with the Discovery deck. You get a small collection, like a library collection of these books. If you see the top view, all black stickers. Now the Discovery deck has darker pages, Carnival Inferno has lighter colored pages. And over here, just in case you are lost, this is the Carnival Inferno deck. Over here, the pages here are thicker, rougher, this is thinner, okay, more fine, sold out almost immediately. So we have them here again in stock, and you're most welcome. Please to just let me know if you want any, and I'll get them reserved for you. Alright, so the next deck we're gonna have is this very interesting deck, which is the comic deck. This is a very nice shuriken that you see down here. And what is so beautiful about this deck is the contrast that you're seeing here. Okay, so we have down here, it says second issue MMD, okay? So we have it's basically comic in there. And if you buy it and you see the cards in there, they are all about comics, okay? So you have comic cards in there. The designs are absolutely beautiful. So as much as possible, my website has images of all these decks and so. But more than anything, you can just do a simple search on Google and just type MMD, for this case, type comic deck with this hex 2, okay? And you begin to see a lot of images on these decks. If you're a comic lover, if you want a deck with very beautiful designs, this is the deck to go for. And you can see even the base down here is very simple yet beautiful and nice. Time to go on towards a more dreamy deck, and this is the Dream deck. It's a simple deck. If you're asking me, for a very complex design, then this is not the deck to get. It has a very, cool and calm look. And that's the kind of thing that you want, okay? If you are just someone who wants to perform something with a very calm nature or very cool nature, this is one of the decks that you can look out for. Basically, just the design is like that at the front of the box with the word Dream and this triangle here. The side is just basically a very nice border which says the United States Playing Card Company. And then you go to the back, and that's where you see a very nice back here with a diamond and it says Dream on both sides. Now it's symmetrical once again, and considering the number of dots they have here and the design, these could make a pretty good mark deck, if you know what I mean. So over here says Dream Under the Sun. Okay, so this is the Dream deck that is pretty nice. This is a very common deck, but it's not the Bicycle Rider deck only, it is a Lefty deck. Now the Lefty deck is similar to the Rider deck, but the only difference is that this deck, Lefty deck, the pips are in different direction. What I mean is that while the 2 is here for normal cards, the Lefty deck would have the 2 here, and these 2 would be here, so they swap the position. Now initially I thought this was for just Magic, but then again I realized that the many people who are getting these are also people who are left-handers, and they find that it's easier to perform with a Lefty deck. So this is the Lefty deck that we have here. It's by the House of Playing Cards Company. Okay, so this is more for Magic or left-handers. Red Tune deck. Now the Blue Tune deck was sold out, and then I brought in the Red Tune deck. Now the Red Tune deck is similar to the Blue Tune deck, and Believe me when I say that the camera cannot actually capture the colors so nicely because the camera is unable to pick up the subtle, red tints at this area. So we have the red tune deck here, and this is similar to the blue tune but it's red. The main point of attraction is really the back here. This very nice contrast of red, black and white. You can see it's very bright and strong contrast. The words they use are also very beautiful, which actually adds on to the design here. And that's the red tune deck for you. Next we go on to the Divine deck. Why is it so beautiful? Now, the front may look like, oh, it's just a Divine deck. It's just any old Divine deck. But you're not right to say that. Why? Because look at the borders, it actually fades out towards the outer side. Number 2, you see a space in the middle here of this whole white space, which you can do anything creative with. If I turn to the side, you see the word Divine. Best thing about this deck is the back. It's not this whole back, it's just whatever you see down here. The red contrasts with the white and black, and it actually mixes together. It actually fabricates together to become one really nice design. And I have to say that this is a really divine deck that we are talking about. Okay, we are talking about the word divine, and it meets up to this word divine. And this is a really beautiful deck that you may want to consider, especially if you are doing flourishing or magic with color changing and stuff. So this is the divine deck, which is really beautiful. And finally, let's go on to the last deck. This interesting deck called the Fake&Genious deck, as well as the Fast&Genious deck. Now they're sold together as a pair here, and this is a really interesting deck. You can actually do magic with this deck, but if you don't want to do magic with this deck, you can just get it as a deck which you can play with, and or you can actually just get it for collection. Now the reason why they are sold together is because the designs in these two decks are really interesting. You should really try to check out these cards. They are really beautiful, and believe me when I say these cards are, has been one of the most requested decks that people have been asking for so far. Alright, so thank you very much for viewing this whole very quick review on all the decks that we have here. Once again, I'd like to stack them up here so that you can have a look at them. We've got the Red Tune deck, Density, the Rough deck. With all of you, once again, Red Tune deck, Discovery, Carnival Inferno, the Bicycle Old Masters, Divine deck, Density deck, Lefty deck, Fast and Furious, Dream deck, Spectrum deck with the really beautiful colors at the background here. You will really want to do flourishing and spreads with this. The Rough deck, Bicycle Go deck, the Bicycle Majestic deck, and Comic 2 deck. Alright, so thank you very much for viewing this video. Thank you so much for sending in your comments on YouTube, as well as to send me private messages on my phone and sending in mails, okay? They really help me to connect with you, and this is not, many of you know that I'm not out there to just sell you these things. I really want to make friends with you. I want to know who you are, and let's talk about decks. Because if you love them and I love them too, let's have something in common in interest, okay? And we can talk about them, and we can, share a little bit more about these decks. I would really love to bring down these decks to show them to you face to face. Now, for those of you who have been coming to my box shop, you will know that the decks that I sell are very exclusively different. Every time I sell decks, they are designs that have been specially selected, okay? And after I put them there, some people may try to follow getting these decks too, and you really want to look at my box for inspiration of what decks to get. I want to bring this very different experience to you, and I thank you so much once again. I can bring all this in only for one reason and one reason only. It's nothing to do with me, it's nothing to do with my magic, okay? It's because of all of you, every single one of you that has been able to support me, that allows me to bring in all this deck for you, okay? You have been supportive to me in terms of sending me reviews, supportive to me in terms of telling me what decks are great or what decks you hope to get, and that is the only reason why all these decks have made it to the boxes and shelves, as well as my website. And so I thank you so much once again, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.